is Ryan Maloney. I'm the Associate Artistic Director of New City Players. For those of you who've not heard of us yet, my name, New City Players is a 501c3 not-for-profit theater company here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We've been around almost 5 years and performing out of the Vanguard, out of Empire Stage. And recently now, just became the first resident theater company of ArtServe. Maybe you've heard of ArtServe. And we are thrilled to be a part of this family and this community and bring performing arts to the ArtServe network and their repertoire. So yeah, that's what's brought us here. And so today we've got 3 short new plays. So like many of you at home, this pandemic has upturned your lives. And we have several community events at New City Players, and one of them is called NCP Lab. And that's really our artist, I guess, incubator. That's kind of a buzzword, but where we invite actors, musicians, playwrights, poets to just bring work to be critiqued. And since the pandemic, this event has really exploded. It was last year, it was once a month. This year we've got, or since the pandemic and stay-at-home orders, we've switched to every other week and consistently have brought in 30 artists, playwrights, actors. Some people just like to sit and watch. It is an open gathering. And we've each time sent out a prompt and asked playwrights or writers to submit a piece. And then from the people attending, we read some new work and talk about what's happening in our lives. And it's kind of artist therapy, which is really helpful every other Monday night. It's just been a really neat experience. And a lot of new work has come out of it. And these 3 stories that you'll hear today have also came out of those prompts, came out of, I guess, that inspiration from that event. So yeah, we're excited to bring them to you. Did I answer your question? Sometimes I ramble, Ed, forgive me.
You absolutely
quarantine brain.
You absolutely answered our question.
That's the answer.
And I just wrote in the chat down there that our attendees, and we want to say thank you to all of our attendees, your questions and comments will be answered by Sophie Bonnet, who is right here. And in my feed, she is anyway. And so bring them on, bring them on. We love your comments and questions on Facebook and on Zoom. And Ryan, I know that you've got Equity Actor with us. What's that even mean?
We do. So New City Players, we, since the very beginning, we have a strong belief in community. We have several community events, but one of our, I guess, core pillars is fostering local talent. We believe there is a ton of talent in South Florida, and we want to keep it that way. We don't want people to move away. So we take pride in the fact that we hire local actors, designers, directors, and some of them are equity. And because of that, we've got a special announcement, and I'm just going to read it direct from the screen that is a part of our agreement with equity. So here it goes. We wish to express our gratitude to the Performers Union, Actors Equity Association, American Guild of Musical Artists, American Guild of Variety Artists, and SAG-AFTRA through Theater Authority, Inc. for their cooperation in permitting Crystal Millie Valdez to appear on this program. Crystal is also one of our founding members of New City Players and core company members. And we are thrilled for this new step in her life and career, and thrilled that she can still work with us, even if there's a little bit of red tape.
That's amazing. So what can we expect today from New City Players?
Unintentionally, all of these stories do kind of have a common thread of life in pandemic. That was kind of our initial prompts. But as they've gone on, it's been really interesting to see how even indirectly, directly and indirecting, this pandemic has changed the course of all of our lives. And it now kind of is this baseline understanding. So some plays, they kind of take a different look, but they all are, I guess, COVID-19 related. So, but they're all, you're going to laugh a little. You might be a little weirded out. Some of them are futuristic. Some of them are very current. Some of them are tender, but it's plays. We believe in transformative theater. We believe in how people respond emotionally as opposed to intellectually. And even in these few short plays between 5 and 10 minutes long, we hope something is sparked inside of you. That would be our heart. That is our heart, and that is our mission, to present true human stories that touch our audiences.
That's amazing. Sophie, are you ready to go with this?
I'm ready. Oh, wait.
Are we ready?
Absolutely.
Live streaming. You just never know.
Well, I want us to dive right in. We've got an audience on Zoom. We have an audience watching on Facebook Live. I know everybody's excited to get going. So I say, let's bring it on. There's already a break a leg in the comment section.
Break a Zoom leg. All right. Well, then I would like to invite our first script is titled Rent for May, and it is by playwright Leb Williams with performances by Joey De La Rua and Mary Elizabeth Gunlock.
Thank you, Ryan. Hi, I'm Leb Williams. I'm a member of the NCP Play Lab. And as most of you have seen the news about rent strikes across the country, that was my inspiration. And I thought, where does that put a renter these days, locked down from earning a living? And where does that put a landlord that has their own burdens to deal with? And going forward, since, as they say, we're all in this together, or are we? I introduced my short play, thanks to the NCP Play Lab, Rent for May.
I wish I could just go this month without paying rent.
When can I come by for it?
No, I meant I'm not paying you my rent this month.
Oh, you said you wished you could just. That's what an English teacher would say was expressing the unlikely, that which is far from our ability to fulfill in spite of our desire.
I thought you'd be more angry.
Oh, I'm building to that, making sure we're communicating first.
I can't help it if I was laid off. I haven't received my unemployment yet, and the stimulus check hardly covers my cat's dietary needs. Fresh wild salmon is expensive if you can find it. I'm always 6 feet short of grabbing it before someone else gets it. Social distancing is a tool of the privileged.
You have a cat? Did I know that?
Yes. You charged me a security deposit for it? Like I was saying, there's a movement nationwide not to pay rent for the month of May.
Now you're bringing the rest of the country into this, and the month of May sounds communist. You consider me privileged?
We feel that under the circumstances, why should those without property take the brunt of this virus?
But what about me? I have a mortgage to pay, water bills. How often do you bathe your cat?
Never. 2 words offend her, water and Purina.
Oh, but you love it. And my property tax bill, I just ignore that since I don't have your rent money to cover it?
Government and banks should give you a break. How about a month with no rents and no mortgages, no property taxes, no water bills? Call your senator.
How about you not wash your cat so often? They muddy the waters to make it seem deep.
My landlord is quoting Nietzsche now.
I study philosophy at UM.
Really? So did I. Did you have Professor Ranskowski?
Yes. And her 3 stages of denial from a Germanic perspective.
Jawohl!
Oh.
Did you lunch in the quad with her and feel special?
Oh, she said I saw through the madness. She mesmerized us with the meaning of shared tragedy.
My toilet has a smell. I think the O-ring has disintegrated.
I'll send a plumber first thing in the morning.
These are difficult times.
Yeah, for all of us.
It felt liberating for a moment to be rebellious. I'll write you a check and leave it under my doormat.
I'll need to raise the rent next month to cover some of my losses due to the pandemic.
I wish I could just die.
Oh, we'll find a home for the cat first.
End of play. For all the billions of Facebook watchers,
Awesome.
here's for you, Joey and Mary. And also, Ed, before we go too far, I made the grave mistake of not including directors in this conversation. So I would like to also invite the director of this piece, Elizabeth Price, onto screen as well, who could offer some insight working on this new play and working with fabulous actors.
Welcome. First of all, I want to say that was fantastic. What was it like putting this these two actors together for this piece, and how do you feel it's reflective of what's going on in society today?
Well, I loved working on this piece because it's a humorous take on what's happening right now, even though it addresses like totally real problems of not being able to pay our rent and our mortgage, whatever our situation is. And I think I'd love to hear from, Leb about what inspired him, but what the three of us, as we worked on it, really enjoyed was finding that two people who think they have nothing in common with each other end up, being essentially kindred spirits and, fellow pretentious philosophers, and they really bond over that, and it takes them to a new place, which was fun.
Sophie, do we have any questions coming in from social media or from the Zoom audience?
Hey guys, that was great to watch. We have a lot of clapping hands, emojis, and bravo. So, and Michelle Rosum, she said ArtServe and New City Players taking it to the next level. Stage reading greatness.
Level up.
That was amazing. And there's a shootout for Elizabeth. Clapping hands emojis.
Love directors. We'd be lost without them.
And Leb, what brought you to create this piece?
Well, I'm a renter myself, so I feel for renters who lost it. I also lost my job because of the virus, and I heard that courts were not evicting people, and I was thinking, maybe I don't have to pay my rent this month. But then I realized that landlords also have obligations. But I like how there's the diverse groups of people that are protesting the virus or working to try to improve economic situations for everybody. And I'm hoping that kind of continues beyond what we're experiencing now. And I'm afraid that maybe economics may play a part in not having that happen. But I think if we find our common ground, like these two people did, their past, and maybe we can help each other out more.
I think that's exactly what it's about, is common ground. And I love how the landlord was building up to his anger until there was a moment of commonality between them, and then a little bit of resolution. And I feel like that is such a universal experience between people everywhere, whether they're landlords or renters or whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, hats off to you guys. I think it was amazing.
Yeah, great job.
Bravo, everyone. And fun fact, Joey Del Rua, although he is a South Florida native, he currently resides in the Windy City of Chicago. So he is our only still local, not local, but still actually local. And we love him and are glad he could join us for this.
That's amazing. And before we move to the next play, I would like to read a comment from Linda from Zoom. She says, great performances. The play dialogue is very realistic. Thank you, Linda, for that comment.
Wonderful. Well, shall we move on, Ed? Everyone left us.
Everyone left us. Sophie, you're
like
allowed
us.
to come back. What do we have next in store, Ryan?
So forgive me, Louis, but so next I would like to introduce the piece Missing by Luis Roberto Herrera with actors Timothy Mark Davis and Crystal Millie Valdez. And then also I'd like to invite back Elizabeth Price as director, because I don't want to miss that again. But if you all could join us and we'll get started on the next piece.
Welcome, guys. How you doing?
We have our cast.
Great.
We have our director and our playwright. Wonderful. All right, let's dive in. Lewis, can you give us a brief intro and then send us off to sea?
Yeah, sure. So this is a play that was written for NZP Writers Lab. It was written with the idea of what if this quarantine went on for longer than we expected, and just how people would kind of react to a moment of fear, and how sometimes people overthink and overreact to moments of fear, as in we are living right now. So this piece is a little short play I wrote called Missing, and yeah, here we go.
Trees.
Trees?
Yeah, the smell.
Yeah, I get that.
And you?
Rain.
Oh, yeah.
But not just the feel of rain. I mean, that's amazing, don't get me wrong. But the smell of it, too. Like, you know, like right before and after.
Yeah, that's really good. Oh, okay, this is actually, yeah, let's change the subject.
Well, no, we can't do that. We have to say, you know, positive and remember the good things, the things that we can look forward to. And
Why?
what do you mean?
I mean exactly that. Why do we have to pretend like everything's gonna get better?
Well, because it will.
Says who?
What, you actually think?
How many days has it been? Come on, how many days?
I don't know.
157.
Jesus.
Yeah, so talking about what we miss and what we want to see, feel, and hear again, it doesn't really do anything. In fact, it kind of just makes me angry.
Well, you're the one that brought it up.
Yeah, and now I'm ending the conversation and I regret even thinking about it. Yeah, that's it. So just no more talking about it.
Sorry. How much food do we have left?
Well, originally we had enough for a year, but well, we didn't think we'd be in here that long. So yeah, not as much as we should.
Well, should we?
Nope.
Well, you didn't even.
No, I know exactly what you were going to say, what you want to say, and I'm telling you, no, we shouldn't. We can't.
Well, you know, everything could be normal out there. They could have found a cure. The air could be.
And you want to risk that? After everything we've seen, your family, mine, you honestly want to take that risk? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Well, what do we do then?
Same thing we've.
What? Was that from? Oh, that's real. It's real. It's coming from.
Shut up.
Hello? Anyone in there?
See?
Hello? If there's anyone in there, we are going around letting all bunkers know that the air is now clean. It's okay to come out.
No, don't say a word. Okay, I know what you're thinking, and maybe you're right. Maybe everything is better outside, but what if, and hear me out, what if it's a trap? Huh? Remember before we came in here, everything people were doing to each other and how some people weren't affected, they were immune? Okay, this could be them. Those immune just trying to get us and take everything we have left. Do you want that? Is that what you want? Are you willing to die like that?
Hello?
Please do not start screaming your head off for attention, okay? Because if they know we're in here, then they won't stop till they get inside, okay?
Would you rather starve to death?
Honestly, yeah, but better than whatever they might have planned.
Right.
We aren't going to starve, okay? Tomorrow we'll go out and look, okay? We'll just be safe about it.
In the air?
I don't know, okay? I don't know, but maybe it's worth a try, right?
Yeah, no one's in here, guys. Let's keep moving.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Oh. What else do you miss?
Clouds.
Clouds are nice.
End of play.
Yay, awkward silence. You did it.
Wow, I mean, that was powerful. Actually, and Tim, I'm saying this to you. Your feeling of anxiety is palpable.
It's not real at all. Don't worry. Just pretending, I'm not anxious.
I mean, I'm watching the play, and I'm feeling, like I want her to answer the door. I'm like, answer the door. So, I imagine that there's like this feeling is shared by so many people who are in this isolation. Do you identify with the character that you're playing?
Are you talking both of us or me or?
Oh no, both of you actually. Both of you. Are you identifying with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the great thing about the piece, which is a credit to Lewis, is that it captures the contradiction that these two people represent a contradiction in an extreme contradiction in how to handle what's going on. And I think all of us have both sides in both of us, probably at different phases of this quarantine, depending on our mood. If we've had lunch that day or not, we may be one side to the other. I think it's just like we are all wrestling with those polar opposites in us of, oh yeah, I'm fine and I'll go out and it'll be safe, and like I need to keep my door shut and stay locked away for a long time. So I think I identify with both characters at different points in time, but leaning into the more conservative, like, and that was great where Elizabeth helped us, like, what's the backstory of these characters? And we got to use our imagination and just kind of play around with that, and making the stakes really high, like some bad stuff has happened to this guy in the past. So I just went with that, and yeah.
Elizabeth, what's it like directing two individuals remotely like this to bring them together for an emotional, a performance that can, convey this kind of emotion to an audience?
What is Zoom acting, Elizabeth?
It has been so strange. I will admit that right off the bat, because we're all used to being, in person and using each other's energies and being able to connect so much more easily with each other because, we're present with each other physically and mentally. and emotionally and spiritually. But on Zoom, it's like, hello, screen. Let me interact with you, screen. The thing is, it takes a little more effort, I think, to connect. What I will say about both pieces I directed is like, I love all the people I directed and already know them. And for example, with Crystal and Tim, like, not only do I know them, but I love them. So it was easier for us to connect. And I really thought this piece was awesome. And they were willing to go where it requires an actor to go and let me guide them. But we already had a level of trust, which helped a lot.
Sophie, do we have any questions coming in from Zoom or from social media on Facebook?
We do. Well, first of all, guys, that was great. I didn't want it to end. We have
everyone else does.
Lots of shout out to Team, Crystal, Elizabeth. A lot of clapping hands emojis. Everyone loved it. We have a Megan says amazing on Facebook. Juniper, great work, y'all. Bill says, I take my mask off to you.
That's great.
Paige says,
COVID jokes.
it did feel very Mad Max future. And Megan, but it totally works. Thank you everyone for your comments. Please keep typing your comments and questions.
I just have one more for Lewis. How does it feel having your hand in creating a piece in which one person says amazing and another person actually compares your work, the tone, the feeling of your work to Mad Max, which is like a cult classic?
It's interesting only because when I was much younger, I always, as a lot of teens tend to do, I'm like, oh, I want to write post-apocalypse stuff. That's what I want to write. And then I realized, no, I don't. I can't do that. And then sometimes I'm just like, oh, why not just do it today? Do a little something. So it feels weird. It feels nice. I'm like, oh, I can do it sometimes when I'm in the mood.
Well done. Well done.
And I'll also chime in because Lewis has other work floating around, and I don't want to plug it incorrectly, but he has written original work for this kind of Zoom medium in this new age we're in. And I will say it's really difficult as theater artists to figure out what is this new form, as Elizabeth was talking about. But hats off to Lewis, intentionally or not. And I know, thankfully, Crystal and Tim both have white walls in their house, but like this play was really conducive to this medium, which I'm not saying that that's where I want to stay for the rest of our lives, because hopefully we'll be in a theater again. But it is interesting to see how new plays have come out of this, I guess, compression, hyper, like forced to adapt. So hats off to that.
Lewis, plug
intentional or not, but yeah,
show.
Lewis, plug your work.
Yes. So I have an original virtual one-person show that I wrote titled I Fucking Love You, which is on YouTube and available for anyone to watch. And it does have a response piece, because in the show, the character talks about one specific person, and then I wrote another show, that person responding to this show, which is called I Fucking Hate You. So it's a two-part series, I Fucking Love You and I Fucking Hate You, both available on YouTube. Please check them out if you can. And yeah.
Very, very cool. Sophie, anything else from the Zoom family before we move on?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to read one last question from Zoom. This question is from Linda to Lewis. She's asking, Lewis, are these your real fears? How are you dealing with the quarantine?
For me personally, they're not my real fears. I know people that are responding this way to quarantine and to the pandemic. So I kind of just took those people's fears and incorporated them. And I'm dealing with quarantine by writing too much and adapting my writing. And as I just plugged myself, writing specific shows for this new theatrical / film medium of like webcams. So that's kind of what I'm doing with my quarantine time.
Got it. Well, it sounds like you're putting your talent to amazing use. And like the audience said, I didn't want it to end either. Sophie said that it was very compelling. I encourage you, if you want to go down this rabbit hole, I will definitely want to see part 2 of this.
100%.
New Netflix series.
There you go. So Ryan, what's next on tap?
Next on tap. You know, one vision for New City Players is to open a pub. So we'd be New City Pub. So next on tap with New City Players. So our third piece and final piece for today is called Easter Miracle. And I'd like to invite Alana Hayel, the playwright, as well as the cast, Elizabeth Price, Ernesto Gonzalez, and Abby Nigro to, I guess, to the screen, not to the stage.
Welcome, everyone. Uh-oh, it seems like we have an empty chair.
Oh, that's intentional.
We got the
he's pre-staged.
So who is the writer of Easter Miracle?
Alana.
And Alana Yael, what's Easter Miracle about?
You sort of figure out where they are as the scene happens, so I'm not gonna tell you that, but I am gonna say that this 19 thing is having some, it's depressing, and I was kind of curious about the logical consequences of that and how different kinds of characters are coping with that. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't wait.
All right, we ready to roll? There are, I'm gonna disappear, but there are some brief intros with some lovely character descriptions to really set the stage that Alana gave us. So you're gonna hear my voice before we get started. But here we go, Easter Miracle. Easter Miracle by Alana Yael. We have 3 characters, Janet in her late 40s, typical conservative, motherly housewife / church lady type. We have Kristen in her early 20s, kind but opinionated college student. And soon we will meet Dennis in his early 20s, outspoken, conceited, and occasionally insensitive, but does sincerely care for both humans and humanity. It's the evening on Easter Sunday, April 2020. 3 desks in an office-type room, conspicuously spaced at least 6 feet apart from each other, a phone on each. There are a few half-hearted spring / Easter decorations up. There is also a poster with quote unquote new health guidelines written on the top in huge letters visible on the wall. Kristen is looking at a textbook and making notes while Janet appears to be sewing. Dennis enters.
Hey, I'm Dennis. Just finished training yesterday. Guess you're my new office pals, huh?
He starts to walk over to introduce himself to Janet, then remembers social distancing guidelines and heads to his desk instead.
Right. No handshakes. Sorry. And sorry I'm late.
Don't worry about it. It's a miracle anyone new would sign up to volunteer here at a time like this. And what a day for a first shift. I'm Janet, by the way.
Kristen, hi.
Hey, happy Easter. Have things been busy?
Lately, yeah, calls have been way up since COVID. You probably guessed.
Yeah, I saw an article and I figured I should be doing something to help, you know?
Well, thanks for that. Today, though, there's been none. No calls at all. It's so weird.
Really? I thought attempts spiked at the holidays.
That's a myth. Christmas, Easter, the big holidays, they're quieter. Not this quiet, but people look forward to those, enjoy those, being off work and with family.
But this isn't exactly an ordinary Easter. A lot of people aren't with their families.
Well, a lot of people are finding ways around that. Zoom, FaceTime, even just a phone call.
You know that isn't the same.
It's a lot better than nothing. You don't know how badly I wish I could have just one more conversation with my daughter, whatever way I could have it.
The phone's right there.
She's no longer with us.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. You didn't know.
Was it from the virus?
No, it's been, she's been gone a long while now.
Well, no calls. So either it's an Easter miracle or things are so messed up that everyone who would be calling is just going straight for the bullet.
I'd like to think not. Maybe everything that's happening has been reminding people how valuable life can be.
Sure. And maybe I'm the second coming.
I mean, she could be right.
No. If anything, people are staying around out of pure curiosity. I mean, the world's falling apart. Might as well sit and watch the shit show.
Sometimes crises bring out the best in people. Like during the World Wars, the suicide rates were lower because people had a fight, a cause. They were united against an enemy.
It's a lot easier to unite against bad guys with guns than something we can't even see. I mean, not to mention when we can't actually unite physically. Besides, it takes a great leader to unite a country. We've just got a great clown. Sorry, I've been going a little stir crazy. And I can't believe that asshole really wanted to reopen the country today.
Well, it was a nice idea.
Well, you can't run a country on nice ideas. The only thing worse than the economy getting worse would be COVID getting worse, basically. I mean, you guys probably know better than anyone. What have people been saying?
Well, there have been a lot of people worried about money who've lost their jobs and stuff. Then there's the ones worried about getting infected or who think they could be infected or who've actually tested positive. People whose loved ones are infected or dying or dead. And then there's all the people who just can't take the being alone. Still, it's not as bad as it sounds. Most of the people we hear from aren't actually thinking of going through with it. Mostly they just want someone to listen to them. You'd be amazed how little it can take to stop some people. Yes, I understand, I hear you, you're a person to me. Or they just need a distraction. Sometimes something so little to be happy about.
Like what? I mean, like now what? Since this started, you can't say go to the beach, can't say go visit a friend. Even a nice walk outside is dicey, depending on the part of town.
There are still plenty of things that people can do. Play with their dog, read a book, Skype a friend.
Okay, what if they don't have a dog? What if they don't have a book? What if they don't have a friend?
Netflix?
There are always ways to stay positive. Always. Most mental health crises don't last long. You just have to get the callers through the moment.
But what if we can't? If we send them to the hospital, odds are they'll catch COVID on the way to the psych ward. All these cliches, these aphorisms, these distractions. If that's all we have to offer, are we even really hearing them at all?
What's your deal then? Why are you here if you're so skeptical of the way we do things?
I don't know, because doing anything is better than doing nothing, and someone being here is better than no one. What would happen if no one was here?
They have backup lines.
Okay, what if they run out of backup lines?
It hasn't so far. They're careful.
Well, thank God for that. Imagine how that feels. Sorry, you want to kill yourself? Please hold. Besides, I thought that hearing what different kinds of people have to say right now might be useful for my work.
Work?
Well, not work officially. I'm just a waiter. But now that restaurants are off the table, I've been devoting myself to my real work, setting the scene for the next American Revolution.
You're an activist?
In my way, but the first thing they'll write after my name on the Wikipedia page will be esteemed American novelist.
I see.
I've been sketching out plots and short stories for so long, but now I finally got it. COVID. Oh, no, that's bad phrasing. I just meant that this is the unifier. This pandemic, it's been connecting everyone from all over the country, from all walks of life. It connects everything from politics to mortality to morality to greed to rage to love. It's the perfect subject for my first masterpiece. I'm calling it The Salubrious. It means helpful. It's supposed to be ironic.
These people will be depending on you at some of the most vulnerable moments of their lives, and all you can think about is your material?
Not all. It's not like that'll be the goal of the conversation. I just might pick up a few things.
I think you're forgetting the first rule of this. It's not about you. Maybe you think what you're thinking won't affect what you say, but I think that's not always how it works.
Well, why are you here then? Just on your heart's purity?
No. I graduate from UNC's psychology program this spring, and I needed an internship credit. But at least when I'm done with school, I'll actually be able to help people in real life instead of putting all my energy into people who don't even exist.
You think great literature can't help people? Janet just said. She tells them to read books.
Yeah, good books. And just mathematically, this novel, less than 1% of a chance it'll wind up a classic. 90% chance it will wind up in the trash.
Well, what if David Foster Wallace had thought that?
Oh, you're one of those.
Those what?
Nothing. Look, I bet everyone is going to be writing about the pandemic once this is over. You should write something else, something sweet, a comedy, a fantasy. After something like this, people won't want to relive the horror. They'll want to escape.
No, they'll want poetry. They'll want solace. They'll want to process what they've been through.
Yeah, in therapy, not by plotting their way through some pretentious book.
Kristen, I don't think you need to be so hard on him. Help is help.
If you say so, I guess. She's been coming in every weekend for the past 10 years.
Really? Why?
I just like to stay busy, useful.
There are more pleasant ways to stay useful.
Well, none so rewarding.
We still haven't heard from anyone? What's happening out there? The apocalypse?
Well, that'd end the calls.
End of play.
Woo!
And I'd like to invite back Alana, as well as the director of this piece, Mary Elizabeth Gunlock. Whew. Take it away, Ed and Sophie.
That was great.
Yeah, it sure was. And I want to remind the audience who's watching on Facebook, if you like this play, let's see all those little likes and hearts. You can press that little button. We want to know what you feel. And write into the chat how this made you feel. Same thing for you guys on Zoom. Tell us how you feel about this play. Sophie, what did you see coming in from our audience?
Everyone is enjoying all the plays. There's a nice comment by Rachel on Facebook. She's like, she loves all these plays, all these new plays. Thank you, Rachel, for that comment. There is a question. Oh, Jennifer has actually a comment and a question. She says, Janet's judgmental faces are great. And the question is, has Janet played a nun before? She's great.
Interesting fact.
Oh my gosh.
Have I played a nun? I don't think I have actually, but thank you for that. I do appreciate it.
Job opportunity.
But I think was that for Janet
sorry.
or Kristen? No, I think we're
That was
both
for Janet.
great candidates for nuns.
Abby, you just felt left out.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No. You know what's funny is I'm gonna play a nun in the next show that I'm gonna do next season, and I used to think about being a nun. So
That's how
there
interesting.
we go.
But we have a lot of clapping hands. Megan, Ian, Mona, Jennifer, Rachel, Paige. Everyone is loving this play, you guys. It was amazing.
Yeah, and for the character Dennis, you know you're good when I'm watching just as an audience member, and I'm like, I hate this guy. I'm like, stop talking about your novel.
It's the representation of those really like selfish and obnoxious like liberals. Like we don't, as liberals, we don't really pay attention to that. But there's so many people out there who are just using things to their advantage. It sucks.
Can you expand on that when you say those obnoxious liberals? Like what do you actually mean?
Yeah, I just mean like people who use the term of being a liberal or wanting to help their society as a cover for their own gain and their own like way into something that they want to do. You know, so it's very dirty.
Yeah, Ilana and Mary, I mean, did this issue of like the liberal savior complex, was that part of your thinking in bringing this together, both on the writing side and the directing side? And I guess, Mary, let's have you go first.
Sure, that's a great question. I really, in reading this, the first thing I thought of was that this guy's just bulldozing into this situation that he doesn't know very much about, and he's not being very sensitive to what other people are going through, and he almost speaks as if he's repeating things that he's seen on television or heard other experts say, and but it really is, it's for me approaching it where there's that metaphor of this is like a bulldozer just that is going into a war-torn territory and has no real concept of the environment that they're in. It's also very much about somebody trying to connect. That's really what he's trying to do. He's trying to connect. He's trying to get recognition. And I think even though it comes out in a way that is particularly negative and self-serving, I think it's something that everybody can kind of relate to, that isolation and that need to be heard, the need to be seen. So that's kind of where we were coming from with it.
Yeah. And what about you, Ilana? What do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. And I mean, I had definitely deliberately made him very extreme, but then like in a way he's also I think he's also like verbalizing things that maybe a lot of us kind of think, but just have the sense not to say, you know? So I mean, it's something I wonder, like when I'm writing, like why am I sitting here writing instead of like, doing something that could actually like make a more tangible, practical impact on people? So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Sophie, what does the online audience have to say?
Okay, so we have a comment from Linda on Zoom. Great view of what it might actually be like to work at a suicide helpline. Wow. We have a, let me see.
I like the comment that just says troll. And that's probably directed to Dennis.
Andre, on Zoom, thank you all so much for the wonderful writing, acting, and direction. Bravo to all. And we have a comment from Kay on Facebook. So glad to catch these plays. Enjoy them all. Keep them coming.
Absolutely.
And
Mona,
I'd also
great job, everyone. Randy says, nice work. For some reason, I always like to see Elizabeth act.
That's my dad and my stepmother, full disclosure.
That's great.
Dad.
That's great. Well, we do love the family support. Thank you for being here. And thanks to all of our audience for watching these amazing plays. Ryan, you had something.
No, I just also wanted to point out, to highlight Alana and her work. This was, again, a play that came out of the lab, and her ending in the script actually says the end for the time being. And she very much views this as an incomplete or unfinished piece. There is more. And so I just think it's great to hear the starts of stories or the middle of a story or like a part of a story and just know that like this is going to keep going, but yet there was so much there. So just kudos to Alana and her getting those thoughts on paper and letting us work with them for a little bit.
Well, I mean, this has been fantastic. I mean, we're getting right down to the end of the hour, and we've seen 3 magnificent performances. And what I'd like to ask is if the entire New City Players group, directors and actors, could all come in for a curtain call. How do you feel about that, Ryan?
I think that's great. Yeah, if everyone could, you can stay muted if you want, but bring your video back in so we can see your beautiful faces. Gosh, Joey, you are always just prepared to be on camera. I'm just not.
I think that, Joey definitely has his act together. I personally just threw on a t-shirt. I need to make more of an effort. Joey, thank you for showing me up today. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Ed, this is everybody. These are the people who've been working on these plays, playwrights, directors, actors. So everyone give a wave. Take a bow if you feel so inspired.
An audience at home, definitely put in those likes and hearts if you appreciate the work that this ensemble did today. What a great job. In the last couple minutes, I just want to go do a quick lightning round, which has been a hallmark of ArtServe Live. And give me, each actor and director, give me 2 words that would describe your COVID-19 age of isolation feeling or emotion. And Janet, what about you?
Oh, Janet, that's me. That's my character's name.
I have character names up here.
I'm sorry. 2 words, so confusing.
Kristen.
Very alarming.
Mary, go for it.
Yuck.
That's 1 word.
Just, I don't care.
Well, yuck. How about that? Dennis. Dennis.
Zoom oversaturation.
Oh, there you go. Joey in Chicago.
Cross-dressing. That's been my experience.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
You
Tim
wear it well,
Davis.
Joey.
Busy, volatile.
Crystal Millie Valdez.
Stunted growth.
Ooh, I like that. Ilana Yaez?
Sad girl.
I'm just gonna say much weirder.
Much weirder, indeed. Luis Herrera.
Annoyingly boring.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Leb, what about you?
Stimulus check.
We can all use it. Ryan, can't forget Ryan Maloney.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
I have two girls under 3, so we watch a lot of Disney Plus.
Sophie, you got to give me yours.
I'm also playing.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're in.
prepared for this. I don't know. I would say like weird, double weird, or Sauvignon Blanc, whatever you prefer.
All right, and I guess mine would be whiskey and whiskey. Really the way I've been able to get through this. Whiskey and Balvenie, which is both whiskey. Ryan, this has been fantastic. Everybody, I just want you guys to give yourselves a round of applause, and I'm going to applause for you for the audience at home. Tim, it's important to me to tell the audience that, I think you guys are amazing. I've been to several of your plays. New City Players knocked it out of the park every time you guys are on stage. And I support you, and I want you to take a moment to tell the audience at home how they can support you. Where can they find you on social media? How can they find you to see your performances?
Are you talking to me or Ryan?
Oh, I was talking to Ryan, but Tim.
You said Tim. You said Tim, Ed.
My bad.
Did I look like
Ryan,
Tim?
Take it away. This is your show. You take it
Slip
away.
of the tongue, but you know what? Ryan, go for it.
Ed, it's a thrill to be here. We love being a part of the ArtServe family. New City Players is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. We exist by the generosity of our community. We exist hopefully for the benefit of our community. We, like every organization, are looking at the budget and making sure we can survive so that when we all come out of this, we can create a beautiful future together. But if you are able to give, you can head over to newcityplayers.org. /donate now is the direct link, or there's a button at newcityplayers.org. You can give PayPal, Venmo, cash, check, Zelle. We do not make it difficult to take your money. And we appreciate your generosity and belief in our mission and partnering with us to bring transformative stories to South Florida. But Ed, it has been a joy to be here today. As Elizabeth pointed out after her piece, we really do love working with these people. We do love each other. We love that that's the family we've been able to build in South Florida. We love building a community of local actors and artists, and believe it's for the better, and believe, especially in this time, that we can lean into each other, even though we are apart. But thank you for giving us the opportunity to come play for you.
Well, you know what? First of all, it's our pleasure. ArtServe has the same mission that you have, which is to touch the community through the arts. And we go about it in our unique and special ways as different organizations. But the result is the same. It's bringing the world together through our unique talents and our artistry, so that we can gain a better understanding of each other in the world we live in. ArtServe supports arts of all genres, and anytime that we can work together with New City Players, we'd love to have you back. You guys did a magnificent job, and the comments and the questions that came through on Zoom and Facebook are an example of how amazing you guys are, eliciting these emotions from our audience at home. So thank you guys so much.
We're excited to be back.